Hello, today's rhythmic exercises will contain ties. A tie, T-I-E, is a curved line that connects two notes, and you may ask what that means. What it does is it takes the first note and the second note, it puts them together, and it is a sum of their two values to make a longer value. So in this case, looking here at exercise B, we have a half note. We know that equals 2 beats. And we have a quarter note, which equals 1. So if we add those together, 2 plus 1 equals 3 beats, right? So this one is 2. And I'm going to add that. Can't write very well with this, sorry. To this one. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. So normally this is 1, 2, and this is 1, or the way we've been doing it, ta, ah, ta. But because they're tied together, it's going to now become one long note. All right? So these together will now become ta, ah, ah. And we don't say ta for this one since it's connected to the first one. We only make the T sound at the beginning. Ta, ah, ah. So because 2 plus 1 is 3, and a note that equals 3, the dotted half note is ta, ah, ah. I hope that makes sense to you. All right? So in this case, we have, let's see, a quarter note tied to a quarter note. Each one equals 1 beat, or ta. So normally it's ta, ta, but because they're tied together, we'll say ta, ah. So you may say, why not just draw a half note instead? Well, there are some cases where the composer may have to not use a half note, but use 2 quarter notes and tie them together. And we'll see that sort of thing as we go along. So now we have ta, ah, same thing here, ta, ah, and it's not ta, ta because they're tied together. Ta, ah. All right, so I'm going to clap this out, or actually speak the rhythms for you. 2, ready, and ta, ah, ah, ta, ta, ah, ta, ah, ta, ah, ah, ta, ta, ah, ta, ah. See how that works? All right, here in exercise C, we have a whole note, which you remember equals 4 beats, ta, ah, 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 plus a quarter note, which equals 1. So now we have a total of 5 beats, okay? So when you count this out, instead of saying ta, ah, ah, ta, sorry, ta, ah, ah, ta, let's go make this work, okay? Ta, ah, ah, ta. Now because they're tied together, ta, ah, ah, ah. So you have your normal ta, ah, 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 and we add another beat, so that's another ah. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now instead of equaling 4 beats and 1 beat, we just add them up and everything comes out to be 5 beats. Ta, ah, ah, ah. In this case, we have a whole note right here, which equals 4 beats, tied to a half note, which equals 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. So normally this is ta, ah, 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 and this is ta, ah. We combine them together for one long note. Ta, ah, 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 ah. So add an extra ah, ah, but not a ta. Ta, ah, 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 ah. So if we do this all together, we have ta, ah, 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 rest, ta, rest, ta, ta, ta. Do that with me. And ta, rest, ta, rest, ta, ta, ta. All right, and the same thing here in letter D. And in this case, you can see where there is a quarter note tied to a quarter note that crosses over the bar line. You can only have 4 beats per measure. If we made this into a half note, that would be 5 beats. And that's why we have the 2 connected by a tie. So, of course, this one would be ta, 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 rest, ta. All right, so the only difference is when you see the second note of the 2 tied together, there's no T, only the ah. And if there were eighth notes, it would be E instead of T. I hope this makes sense to you. Okay? All right, so let's try one more. We do have some eighth notes here, none that are tied together, but in this exercise. All right, so speak this with me. Ready? And ta, T, 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 ta, ta, ta. Once more, 2, ready, speak. Ta, T, 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 ta, ta, ta. All right, so a tie connects 2 notes and you add up their value to make one longer note that's held a little bit longer according to the number of beats. I hope that makes sense. Thank you.